Hey, Joe, what do you got for us tonight?
Well, tonight we are discussing the Lawson Family Massacre. On Christmas Day of 1929, an Iowa tobacco farmer named Charlie Lawson grabbed a shotgun and killed 6 of his 7 children, his wife, and finally himself. There are few clues left behind to explain his actions, but decades after the murders, his relatives would come forward with an explosive claim, a secret that could help explain Charlie's motive for the massacre.
Quiet your mind. Ever since the Earth has circled the sun, there have been fantastic tales of wonder and mystery that the faint of heart dare not discuss. But 3 brave, uninformed souls have the brass to tackle every extraordinary happenstance, from the modern age to the dawn of Mantis.
Welcome to Dawn of Mantis, true crime, mysteries, and more. I am Ivan with Joe and Sam. Hey, Joe, you got something to talk about?
Yes, and it's worthy of talking about because it's a big deal.
Let's give them something. No, wait, that doesn't work. We're not giving them something. We are talking about it.
Yeah. So breaking the fourth wall, we are sitting here in RedBeard Sound studio on Wednesday, September 3rd right now. This episode will drop Friday, September 5th. But just a few days ago, August 30th, just a few days ago, marked the 7-year anniversary of Dawn of Mantis podcast.
7 year. We made it past, is it the 7-year itch?
Yes.
It's like, yeah. Or wait, is that start right now?
Oh, ooh.
I don't even know what that is.
Are you getting itchy?
No,
right
I don't
now.
think so.
I'm not either. Are you?
I haven't felt anything yet. I mean, I'm sure there's some creams or something if we get that. So,
Yeah.
hey, congrats on 7 years. Sam, how many is that for Sam?
I came in 2020, in November of 2020.
So I'll say this. We've produced 344 numbered episodes. There's several episodes that we had kind of bonus episodes that were extra, not numbered. So total, we're pushing 360 or so episodes. And Sam came in around the 100th episode.
I came in, my first episode was episode 104.
There you go. So he's been in most of the time. You know, I consider this a Sam and Ivan and Joey.
I believe mine was a Thanksgiving smash and grab.
It was. Mm-hmm. Yep. So, yeah, the first ever episode of Dawn of Mantis was August 30th, 2018, with Ivan and I in the attic room of my old farmhouse, 7 years ago. Pretty crazy, man.
Yeah.
And had no idea that 7 years later we'd be sitting here in RedBeard Sound Studio still doing this, and we're in the mid 300s on our episodes. I just had no idea.
It still blows my mind that I've been on more than what was already made.
Yeah,
before
no,
I came
totally.
on.
Way
Yeah.
more.
Double.
Yeah.
At
Yeah.
least.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You do, dude. You've been here through most of it. You've been here through 90% of it. It's a Sam and Ivan and Joey podcast.
We were just cutting our teeth back then. That was just kind of for fun. That wasn't even like, I don't feel like we were really doing it. We were just kind of getting our footing, so to speak,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Now we actually know what the heck we're doing, I think.
I think so. I mean, I would hope so after 360-ish
Yeah, I think
episodes and 7 years.
It really does. And not just recently, but it really just feels like it just works. I mean, it's just, we're not thinking about doing it. We're just doing it.
Oh, yeah.
Does that make any sense?
For sure. I'm going to steal the words that you've been saying, Ivan, for years. We are just who we are. We're ourselves. We're not trying to be anybody, and we're finding our tribe. That's what
Sure. Yeah.
the people who like us will like us, man. Some people won't. Most people might not. And that's cool. But the people that do, we love you.
Yeah,
Thank you so
we
much.
definitely do. And that's just, that's what you do in life. You find the people you want to hang out with. You find the people you don't. And then you just go that way. So we found our people that want to hang out with us. And we appreciate you spending time with us, even though it's a one-way conversation. But we do we get, stuff from social media. We get stuff from the hotline. Fitzy, he sent another message the other day.
Did he really?
Yeah, I'll have to play it for you guys. It's awesome. He doesn't want to play it on the podcast, so he specifically said, don't play this one.
We will honor those wishes.
But I still want to give him a shout out and say, hey, we love you, buddy.
We do.
Just all the people that listen, the Urban Fringe ladies, all our friends that listen. And
Janet, Ken, all of you.
The new friends that we've made just by
Devin,
them being listeners. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so amazing. And don't forget about the OGs like Lonnie And Carl, I don't know if Carl still listens, but he's an OG.
Oh my God, Carl and Crystal, both of them were. I'm not joking. Within the first like 6 months, they were listening.
Yeah.
So yeah, if y'all are still listening, you guys are the OGs for sure.
Right now, Kevin's under his Jeep, wrenching on his Jeep while he's listening to the podcast. He used to listen on his brush hog, but he sold that. I said, why'd you sell your podcast listening vehicle?
Yeah.
Because he had a closed in, brush hog thing. Or tractor work, not just brush hog. But anyway, thanks to all you guys for putting up with this and actually kind of liking it. That's pretty amazing. It surprises me, but hey, it works out, right?
Oh, I'm surprised anyone likes it. But, but I'm glad they do.
Yeah, I know. It's just because we're having fun and we're being ourselves. And I think that's genuine and people just like that. They can tell. And I appreciate it so much.
Oh, Janet told me something that like, it got me a little misty-eyed.
A little verklempt.
A little verklempt, but she said that she felt like we were just kind of like her older brothers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we are. Next time I see her, I'm going to put her under my arm and do that
Give her a
noogie thing.
Noogie?
Yeah. Come here, sister. It's like, hey, I'm a hairstylist. So, well, you can fix it. You got it.
Oh, Janet, look out for Ivan.
Yeah. Maybe I won't do that. I haven't even met her in person yet. Are you Janet? I'm going to be, are you Janet? Who's Janet? I owe you one. Yeah, so. Anyway, thanks so much to everyone for out there listening.
Yeah.
But we do have a case.
We do have a case, the Lawson family murders. And as we stated in the opener there, this one's back in the 20s. We can have a little bit more fun with the ones that are 100 years ago or so. I
mean, we can, but man, that intro sounded brutal.
It is brutal.
Yeah.
It's so brutal.
But it's been long ago, so, too soon. That applies, right?
It reminded me of, was it the family up in like Missouri or where they tried to blame it on the 14-year-old kid or whatever? But
I do remember that.
It reminded me of that one.
It was a setup for that kid.
Yeah.
And he tried to be a hero and almost, and got taken out at the end. Yeah.
But the guy who actually committed the murders was so incredibly stupid.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's a common theme.
Yeah. All those names are escaping me right now. God.
Yeah.
But yeah. That was a great episode.
It's been a minute.
Yeah. But no, this is reminded me very much when I was doing the research of the Villisca axe
I was thinking Villisca.
Okay.
Just because of the time frame. And
Yeah, I gotcha.
So yeah, shall we begin?
We shall.
So Charles Davis Charlie Lawson, long name, was born on May 10th, 1886.
Wait a minute.
Charlie twice?
Yes, his name was Charles Davis Charlie.
Well, so Charles Davis Lawson and Charlie is in like quotations.
Oh,
That was his
okay.
nickname.
Oh,
right?
okay.
Me and
'Cause I
I
was
looked
saying-
at each other
yeah.
like, wait a minute.
Hello, Charlie.
Yeah.
No, I should have. Yeah, Charlie was his nickname.
No, okay. It's fine.
the
I gotcha.
fun version
I gotcha.
of Charles.
Okay.
This is a long time ago, so there's, sometimes the details are sketchy, but he appears to have been the third of 9 children who, along with parents William and Nancy, lived in Lawsonville, North Carolina.
Okay.
Lawsonville is a tiny, unincorporated community which even today consists of just a couple hundred people. The Lawsons, like most people in that region, were farmers by trade, tobacco farmers to be exact. In 1911, when Charlie was 25 years old, he married a 19-year-old Franny Manring, was her name. Franny Manring.
Okay. That's got a ring to it. Literally.
Over the next 18 years, the couple would have 8 children. And this was also commonplace back in those days. People just popped them out like a vending machine. Because
That's before cable. It had nothing to do.
Nothing to do but sakes.
Yeah, I guess so.
Unfortunately, one of those children, a boy named William, passed away at age 6 from pneumonia. This was another common occurrence at the time. Like I said, they usually had a whole crop of them because we're going to lose at least one of these little crumb snatchers, 1 or 2, so they would have several.
Yeah.
Around 1918, 2 of Charlie's brothers, Eli and Marion, moved from the tiny village of Lawsonville 20 miles south to the slightly less tiny town of Germantown. For reference, the town has less than 800 residents even today, and it's probably the biggest it's ever been.
Yeah.
So, just a speck on the map.
I wonder if Germans founded that one.
Right? Germantown.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure they did.
I'd slide chips in on it.
Well, like we said, this region of North Carolina was and still is covered in tiny tobacco farms. Even today, the R.J. Reynolds Tobacco Company has a massive facility located exactly where our story takes place, if you jump on the old Google Maps there.
All right.
When the Lawsons moved to Germantown, they lived on a tobacco farm, obviously, and they sharecropped for the first few years. Now, we've covered this in previous episodes, but it's, been a minute, so we'll do a refresher.
Go.
Sharecroppers were types of farmers, usually poor and without land of their own, who rented farmland by paying a portion of the crops they grew to the landowner instead of paying cash rent.
Yeah, their crops are the mortgage.
Exactly. Sharecroppers.
Not a lot of sharing.
Who's sharing what? I feel like we went over that in the Red Hall episode.
Well, it was of its time, and it was a necessary thing. I mean, or else some people probably, I'm no historian, but I would imagine that's the deal where some people wouldn't have been able to get land at all if it weren't for that. So
exactly.
Perhaps.
So it was better than...
If you're a historian, 4174 Mantis, give me a good tongue lashing if I'm wrong.
But Charlie seemed to have pretty good luck with money, or at least he was good at managing it. And within just a few years, he'd set back enough to buy his own tobacco farm northeast of town out on Brook Cove Road.
Cool.
The family settled in and got busy doing what they did best, growing tobacco. Right away, Charlie's harvest seemed to go well, but it was still the 1920s and rural America. Uh-oh. Life was hard.
Yeah.
And so was the work. By day, the family would work in the fields, and in the evening, Charlie set about rebuilding the old tobacco barn on the property. Now, one day, around 1927, best as I could tell, working in that barn, Charlie had an accident and sustained a severe head injury. Now, I don't know the exact severity of this injury, but it does seem like it was pretty significant. Now, so far, we haven't spoken at all about Charlie's personality, but apparently he had a hair-trigger temper. He was also often harsh and unfeeling. In other words, I'm pretty sure he was an asshole.
Okay.
That's my diagnosis.
Stop beating around the bush, Joe. Just say what he was.
But after Charlie recovered from this head injury, he was an even bigger asshole.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say he was better, but we are a true crime podcast, so you wouldn't have said that ever.
Why is it? You know what?
Always have hope, I guess.
Now that I think back about all the episodes we've done, and we've talked about head injuries before, it's not like anyone was ever a jerk, and then they got a head injury, and then they turned into Mr. Rogers. Well, it always makes you like a worse person. Why is that?
I bet there are cases, but I would imagine if it did make you better, you're probably just somewhat vegetative. You know, so they're like, well, he's pretty cool now, but he doesn't talk. You know?
Like a lobotomy?
Or walk.
Yeah. Like he's not crazy anymore,
have to
but
feed him.
He just smokes Marlboros and looks out the window.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say it's got something with that medulla oblongata.
Medulla oblongata. I'd go right to Billy Madison.
That's what I did. Or Waterboy. Waterboy.
It wasn't Waterboy. Thank you for correcting me.
No problem.
We've covered this before, especially when we talked about Phineas Gage. Remember him? He was the rail worker that had the iron bar shoved through his skull and
turned him into a jerk.
Yes, yeah.
Well, worse than that, right?
Yeah. Like I said, again, no one ever gets nicer or cooler. It's like, oh, man, he was a real dick. But after that, now all he does is smoke weed and listen to Grateful Dead and just like talk about how our auras are. And like, he's really positive now.
No, it didn't work that way. But would you expect a damaged computer to run better? So a damaged brain's not going to run better, I guess.
Thank you, sir.
That makes sense.
There you go.
I only thought of that because you're prompt, so it's not my fault.
I haven't always had a way of putting things where I could understand them.
I had some time to stew on what you said.
Well, let's do a refresher about head injuries.
Let's do it.
Why does that sound funny?
I don't know.
When someone suffers a severe head injury, their personality or temperament can change because the parts of the brain that control emotions, behavior, impulse regulation, and social awareness may be damaged. This appears to be what happened to our boy Charlie, and many point to that head injury as a possible catalyst for what was about to happen.
Oh,
next.
No. Oh, no.
Oh, he pulled out the movie voice.
Buckle up.
This summer, Charlie Lawson, shotgun murders. All right. In the fall of 1929, the Lawsons experienced a far better than average harvest, and they were able to set back a nice chunk of change. Okay? Charlie and Franny had also recently welcomed their 7th child into the world, a baby girl named Mary Lou. Their other children were 17-year-old Marie, Arthur, who was either 16 or 19. I saw freaking 25 accounts of each one. That's an exaggeration, but half the shit I saw said he was 16, half said he was 19. I don't know. He was one or the other. Okay, and then there was Carrie, who was 12 years old, 7-year-old Mabel, 4-year-old James, and finally Raymond, who was just 2. A couple weeks before Christmas, Charlie took the family 20 minutes south to Winston-Salem for a day of shopping. In fact, he bought the entire family new clothes and suggested they take a family photograph. All of this came as a shock to his bewildered family. Remember, the stock market crash that ignited the Great Depression had just occurred 2 months earlier, and even though the Lawsons had experienced a good harvest, it was rare for a farm family to go off, on a spending spree.
Sure.
And to have a photograph taken?
Yeah.
What are we, the Rockefellers? That's what it was back then.
Yeah.
That's how tight it was. However, one article at the time described the Lawsons as a, quote, well-to-do family, so maybe they were doing better than people realize. I don't know. But the weird thing is, the whole time, I'm putting down the notes, the whole time that all this was going on, from what I read, he kept telling the family, this is all just a precursor to the big surprise on Christmas Day.
Oh, no.
I got a big surprise on Christmas Day, baby.
I bet it's not a pony. I've been doing this too long with you, Joe.
Yep, sir. Regardless, the Lawson family gathered together for what would be their final picture.
You know how else I know? You started saying their names and how old they were.
Oh, that's true.
When you start saying that, it's not somebody that's going to live much longer.
That's true. Yeah, you have been doing this a while.
Yeah. Everyone out there is with me. They're like, oh, Joe's saying the names and ages.
Oh, shit.
These people, that's the last birthday they're having.
So, Sam, would you want to pull up this picture for us real quick? If you just put in Lawson family murders.
Wait, you're going to show a picture of all these people?
No. This is the picture that they had taken on that day.
I'll allow it.
A few days before Christmas, when they had all their new clothes. I just want to look at this picture, and I want to describe it while looking at it, because there's some things going on in this picture. So you at home, if you can, unless you're driving a truck or operating machinery, don't do it later. But if you can, look up this picture. We'll put it on our social media outlets or whatever the hell we do before it happens. But so on the far left, you got Arthur, okay, the teenage boy. I look at their faces, by the way. They look like they're in a hostage video.
Well, there's one that's kind of smiling just a tad.
Yeah,
bit
on the
lower,
bottom right.
Bottom right. But
right.
It might have just been she was in between frowns.
So in between
I'm
frowns.
changing my frown position.
So upper left, you got Arthur. He's the teenage boy. Directly next to him, I think it's Marie. She does not look happy. Right next to her is Charlie, the father / about to be mass murderer, right? And this hollow-eyed lady who just has hopelessness.
Holding a baby.
Look at the baby. Even the baby is like, get me out of here. Even the baby is not cool with this.
Well, the one kid on the bottom's like ducking.
Yeah. He's shrinking down into his little petticoat like he doesn't even want to be there.
I do have an answer for maybe why they're like that.
Okay.
It's exposure time. So I think early cameras used to, I don't know in 1929 though, but they could have had a dated camera. So it's like, hold for the picture. And I think they might even told people not to smile because, smile for like a minute.
You feel like a psycho.
So, I mean, that might be why, but it's much more fun to say that it's kind of like a precursor to what's going to happen. I mean, I don't know. I mean, 1929, that's pretty late for that. I mean, I know they had the thing that would blow up. Maybe they're just afraid of that. I'm not going to smile when they're going to blast black powder in my face.
Yeah, playing devil's advocate, I guess no photos from that time really showed people smiling or being happy.
I'm glad you brought it up because it is an eerie photo. I mean, it really is. Knowing what we're going to know, I mean, what you said in the intro, I mean, we know what's going to happen. It's creepy.
Yeah, looking at this photo, every single person in this photo, except for the Arthur on the upper left, every single person in that photo would be dead within days.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, the debate still continues as far as Charlie's motives. Behind the photograph, did he already know what was about to happen? Did he want one last photo of his family before he killed them all? When he mentioned the big surprise, was he referring to the upcoming massacre? I guess it all depends on whether or not it was premeditated or spontaneous, which we will never know.
Man, it seems all premeditated to me.
It does, man. It did to me too. Whatever the case, and just like I just said, within just a few days of that photo, every single person in there except for Arthur on the left would be dead. So, On Christmas Day, 1929, Charlie and his eldest son, Arthur, grabbed their guns and went out rabbit hunting. Now, this may sound like an odd activity to us on Christmas morning, but apparently it was a bit of a tradition for the people of Germantown to do a little Yuletide rabbit slaughtering on Christmas Day.
I've heard of that stuff like that before.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
it makes sense.
After a while, the pair ran out of ammo, and Charlie asked Arthur to walk to Main Street Market in town to buy more. This was absolutely premeditated because Charlie had plenty of ammunition left.
I was going to say, how much shooting did they do?
Well, yeah. Charlie had a bunch of ammo left because he was about to go kill his whole family. I know he had, 7 or 8 shells left. So for whatever reason, and we will probably never know, but he spared his eldest son, Arthur, sent him away right before the massacre. Now, some people have thought, because Arthur, as you can see in that picture, he's a big old boy. He's a head taller than his dad, almost. So some people think that Charlie may have been afraid that Arthur could stop him or wrestle. I don't know.
I don't buy that. He could have got the drop on him. I mean, he trusts his dad.
Exactly.
If he wanted to take him out, he could have, I think.
I believe that too.
You just take care of him first if you want him to be one of in the count.
Yeah.
I hate to even say something like that.
No, I agree. I mean, all he had to do was say, hey, Arthur, lean down and look in that stump. Maybe there's a rabbit. And then bam, right at the back of the head. So yeah, I don't think that Arthur posed any serious threat to Charlie because like you said, the trust factor.
Arthur, I'm going to tell you about the rabbits. Look that
way. Big rabbits, George. Yeah. Oh, what a great movie. Maybe Charlie sent him away because he wanted one person left to carry on the family name, but he was about to completely destroy the family name.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, whichever the case, once Arthur was gone, Charlie quickly returned to the house with his 12-gauge shotgun in hand, by the way, and plenty of shells. He wasn't out. So once back at the farm, Charlie hid out in the tobacco barn and waited. Now, not long after, Carrie and Mabel exited the house to walk over to their uncle's farm, which was right down the road. They were going to walk down there and say Merry Christmas to him. It was Christmas morning, by the way. All right, remember that. So as they walked by the tobacco barn, Charlie stepped out of the door and shot them both. He then bludgeoned them to make sure they were dead. These are his little girls, by the way.
Oh, my gosh.
His little girls. Next, Charlie walked to the house where his wife, Franny, was sitting on the front porch cutting potatoes. Now, it was December in Iowa.
It's usually pretty cold up there.
Sometimes I doubt that she was
on the...
if
they had like a covered or enclosed kind of porch or something.
And sometimes you get lucky. I mean, sometimes it's a warmer day than average.
That's true. Because, I thought that was weird. I was like, why is she on the front porch in the December in Iowa? But, it could have been an uncharacteristically not as cold day. Whatever the case. He walked up to her and pointed the shotgun at her chest and fired once. Of course, she died instantly. Marie, James, and Raymond were inside the house, and they realized what had just happened. Marie told her brothers to run and hide, but before she could run away, Charlie entered the house and shot her in the chest as well. The two boys had done as they were told. They had ran and hid, but their father quickly found them, shot them as well. The only child left on the property was baby Mary Lou, who was in her crib in the back room. I won't talk about this, but she died as well. I can't talk about it. She was a little bit, I can't do it. So anyway, Charles quickly returned to each body and posed them, each lying flat on their back, arms crossed, and he placed a flat rock under each of their heads, like a pillow, like propping their head up. Following this, he ran into the nearby woods. Meanwhile, Charlie's younger brother, Elijah, that's the guy who Carrie and Mabel were walking over to visit, had heard the gun blast from his farm and the screams, and he had ran over to see what was going on, and he brought with him 2 of his sons. When they arrived, they discovered the 7 bloody bodies in the home and the barn. Not long after, Arthur arrived back at the house with the ammo and was like, what happened? He also became aware that his whole family, other than his dad, who was at the time MIA, was dead. The men quickly called for help, and as word of the tragedy got out, a crowd gathered at the Lawson farm. Arthur told everyone how his father had sent him to the store shortly before, and the big question was, where was Charlie now? At that early stage, no one knew exactly what had happened yet, so some wondered if Charlie had also been murdered but just hadn't been found yet, you know? I mean, I would have probably thought that too. I wouldn't immediately go to like, oh, he killed everybody, you know?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
So where's Charlie? Oh my God, I bet he's been killed too. Where is he? And they couldn't find him. Over the next few hours, more police arrived, as well as most of the community of Germantown, which wasn't much, but they were all there.
Sure.
As the crowd chattered about the crime, a gunshot rang out from deep within the nearby woods. Arthur and one of the police officers ran in that direction until they came upon the body of Charlie Lawson. Beside him were 2 letters laid out, each addressed to his parents. The letters would later be read by police, and it was reported that they did not contain any information relating to the crime or his motives. In case anyone's wondering that, I think the letters were more concerning what to do with his estate and just bullshit like that. Nothing to do with why he did what he did. Throughout the course of the day, about 6 inches of snow had fallen, and judging by his tracks, Charlie had...
So there you go, about the front porch.
Well, it was
thing.
cold. Yeah, it was cold.
Yeah, but that answers your question about her peeling potatoes on the front porch.
Yeah.
Because if that's the same day and 6 inches of snow falls, it's cold outside.
I doubt she's out there, yeah. So she may have been in the kitchen or just inside or something.
Yeah, I just wonder if they're calling it a front porch, but it's something else.
True. That makes sense.
Something covered at least.
Yeah.
But another thing, though, people were tougher back then. I mean,
that's true.
It could have been 30 degrees outside. She could have been out there peeling potatoes.
Yeah.
I mean, now it wouldn't happen.
No. So my mom would talk about back in the 30s, because she was born, I think, in 26. Back in the 30s, she could remember as a little girl, you know, they had a wood stove. That was the only thing they had for heat. Mm-hmm. And they lived in a log cabin with a dirt floor. And they would, you know, they would cram that stove as much as they could for overnight. And she said, you know, obviously the fire would go out sometime over the night. And she said she remembered waking up as a little girl and like the pot of water that her mother had in the kitchen would literally be frozen in the house. Like because the fire had burnt out overnight, she would wake up.
Much warmer in the house than it would be. Would be outside. So
you're basically only sheltered from like the dew, right?
Sure.
So she could wake up and see her breath, and the pot of water on the kitchen stove was ice.
Yeah.
You know, so you're right. It was people were tougher back then, man.
Yeah.
It was just harsher. It was hard times.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So the letters, we don't know much about those, but continue on.
Well, judging by the tracks in the snow, it looked as though Charlie had spent at least a couple of hours walking in circles around this random dogwood tree out there in the forest before eventually placing the barrel of the shotgun to his chest and using a long stick to, engage the trigger and commit suicide.
You think he already had the letters wrote, or do you think he was writing them out there?
I think he already had them. I base that on nothing, but I feel like he already had them written. I think this was planned.
Yeah, but to have that many tracks going around.
True.
You know, like could he have been standing there writing?
Yeah.
Could have been.
Letters, thinking about it. And
stopping for a second, writing, and then walk. Yeah. Could have.
And you know, when I read about this, so every single person in the family he shot in the chest, and then when he committed suicide, he shot himself in the chest. And, out of all the episodes we've done and all the true crime things I've read, it seems kind of rare that when someone shoots themselves to commit suicide, they do it in the chest. I think most of the time it's in the head somewhere. I think it's a pretty small percentage of suicides are that way.
Yeah.
At least with guns.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, 8 of the 9 members of the Lawson family were now deceased. Police and volunteers used bed sheets to place the bodies on and carry them to nearby trucks. And from there, they were driven about 7 miles east to a funeral home in Walnut Cove. The small funeral home was not equipped to handle so many bodies at once, so they were then taken to Madison Newton's funeral parlor on Murphy Street. There, Stokes County Coroner C.J. Hasselbeck and Dr. Spotswood Taylor performed autopsies on all 8 bodies. So Dr. Taylor was actually a pathologist who worked at Johns Hopkins Medical Center in Baltimore, Maryland. So it was a stroke of luck that he just happened to be from Walnut Cove and was back home for Christmas. So he's home for Christmas visiting family, and then boom, next thing you know, he's spending all night doing autopsies on these bodies. So by that point, it was obvious that Charlie had massacred his entire family, and thankfully, Dr. Taylor had the forethought to remove Charlie's brain and preserve it for further study.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The brain was later examined back at Johns Hopkins, and although it was slightly smaller than usual, There were no abnormalities found that would explain why he committed such a violent. But also, again, it was 1929.
Sure. Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
Not much to compare against.
Exactly, yeah. The frontal lobe and entire surface of the brain seemed normal to them. This maybe dispels the theory that the head injury Charlie suffered back in 1927 contributed to the violent act, or does it because it was 1929 or 1930 by that time?
It all sounds so much like that. I forgot his name. You'll know it. I know I can describe a little bit about it and you'll get it. It was John something, and he killed his family, laid them out in the living room like that later, like I think it's 60s, 70s.
Oh.
And it was all about they were about to go bankrupt, and he didn't want to save them from the embarrassment.
Yes.
But it was like 2 or 3 kids and his wife, and the same kind of thing.
And
Laid
then
them out.
he got away with it for like 30 years.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, he didn't commit suicide. That's right. And then they found him later.
Because he was living a different life, married to a different woman.
Was it Unsolved Mysteries?
Yeah, because they did a bust of what he may look like.
Yeah,
and it
that's
was
right.
spot on.
Yeah, it was one of those where it was right.
I wish I could remember that guy's name, but I can't.
I'm pretty sure it's John something.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, same kind of thing. And it puts me back to the mentality. Did he know like there was some kind of financial end coming for them? Was he smart enough to know that? And was it an embarrassment thing? And the reason why they didn't do the older son is because he thought, well, he can have a life on his own.
Yeah, but what a horrible life to have.
Well, I know. But I'm not saying there's any rationality in it.
Right.
I'm just trying to find something. But yeah, you're right. I mean, I was thinking that before I even said it. But yeah, it's such a weird thing. Like, I don't want them to be embarrassed that we're poor. And
Yeah, but man, I think you could think of maybe a better way of doing it than that.
Of course, yeah. But it's just, it only reminded me of that because that other case, because that was the case with them too.
Right.
And he did the same thing where he laid them out and he was like real respectful after the fact.
Yeah. His mother, he killed his mother too.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Because his mother was living with him.
Yeah, that's right.
I still can't remember his name, but there was another similar case. The guy's name was Bradford Bishop. He killed his whole family too. And if I remember correctly, it was in kind of a similar fashion for similar reasons. But Bradford Bishop. John, I think it began with an S, his last name, like Speck or something weird like that. It was a weird.
Oh, yeah.
It was something like that. Anyway, we'll remember after the podcast and it won't matter. On the way home.
4 Mantis. We could Google it, but it would derail everything.
We're not
Slow
going to.
everything down.
So a few days after the murders, a massive funeral was held at the family cemetery in Germantown. For reasons no one understands, Charlie was buried with his family. Yeah, they have a big, huge tombstone that has all their names on it together, including his. So his wife and kids were buried with the person who had killed them. Although there were 8 bodies, there were only 7 caskets because little Mary Lou, the baby, she was buried in her mother's arms. The Lawson Family Massacre had become a national news story, even making the cover of the New York Times with the headline, "Crazy Farmer Kills Wife and 6 Children." Right?
Seems awful direct, but it works.
It'd be pretty much the same nowadays.
It would be. Just grabbing that headline, man. Clickbait. So their funeral became quite a spectacle. Over 5,000 people came from all over the country to see it. Cars were lined up on both sides of the road for over a mile from the tiny cemetery. After the bodies were buried and the crowds were all gone, a large tombstone, what I just described it, was erected above the graves, along with all of the Lawson family names, including Charlie's, birth dates and death date. There is a quote that reads, "Not now, but in the coming years, it will be in a better land. We'll read the meaning of our tears, and then sometime we'll understand." 10 days after the funeral, Charlie's brother Marion, he built a fence around the Lawson home and opened it up as a tourist attraction.
Oh my gosh.
Step right up and see the Lawson family murder house. The blood is still spattered on the walls. Bone fragments, brain matter, teeth strewn about. Not really, because he didn't blow their heads off, but you get what I'm saying. It was that kind of deal, which reminds me again of the Villisca axe murders, because people they walked through that and collected pieces of meat and bone for souvenirs.
Yeah. Everyone has a meat and bone collection they need added to.
His brother certainly capitalized on it.
Yeah.
Because everything in the house, he left it exactly as it had been, guys. Like, right down to the raisin cake Marie had baked that morning. blood everywhere. Like it had not been cleaned. No, it had not been cleaned. It was untouched from the massacre. The bodies had been removed. That was the only difference. Okay. So for just 25 cents, you could see the Lawson murder house.
So they just sound demented anyways, if that's the case.
Yeah.
There's something, it couldn't have been a head injury. It has to be something in the family.
Yeah.
If the brother just left the house as is with the blood and everything.
That's spooky.
Yeah. It has to be something in the family.
If I was like his neighbor, it seems like you might want that house dozed down or something.
Yes.
Or burned, or I don't know, or I'd move.
But if they had some land, if there was some separation there, it's not like you're right next door to the guy.
His farm was like a piece down the road, but it was within walking distance.
But you'd have to walk or drive by it all the time. Yeah. You still know it's there. It's just weird to, I wouldn't even want to go near it, not to mention like rent it out for, I don't know, a spectacle or whatever.
They do that.
It does sound weird.
Now. They Airbnb that.
Yeah, they do.
I know.
They do. I booked it. No, I'm kidding.
I'm going there next month. Well, it gets way worse. Marion even placed an ad in the local paper, and soon up to 500 people per day were visiting the Lawson family murder house. Many criticized Marion for capitalizing on his family's deaths. He responded by claiming most of the money was going to Arthur, the sole surviving family member. I don't know if that's true or not. But even if it was,
you want some money from your family being dead? That's blood money, literally.
Literally, yeah.
The blood's still there.
We'll get to the blood in a minute. Really creepy. One thing's for sure, the money was rolling in. 500 visitors at a quarter apiece is $125 a day, which is over, and I'm not joking, $2,400 a day in today's puny, overly inflated funny money. $2,400, yeah.
Yeah.
Then there were the printed pamphlets describing the murders that you could also buy for a quarter.
Oh, man.
He did that too. But there were issues, just like what occurred at the Villisca Axe Murder House, like we talked about in Iowa, that was only 17 years prior, by the way. People began to take souvenirs.
Of course they did.
They were literally scraping up and collecting blood from the floor, bricks from the fireplace where Marie was shot, even picking off raisins from the cake Marie had baked that was sitting on the kitchen table.
Gosh.
Picking off raisins from that cake as souvenirs that she'd baked. He left the cake there. So many people picked raisins off that cake that Marion eventually placed a glass case around it.
Yeah.
People even collected strips of bark from the dogwood tree where Charlie had committed suicide. You know what this is? It's a piece of bark. Not only that, but a piece of bark from where old Charlie Lawson committed suicide.
I'll sell it to you.
That's freaking crazy.
With a certificate of authenticity.
Well, this proves that people have had a morbid fascination with true crime for a very long time.
That's true. They didn't have a podcast to listen to, so they just ransacked a true crime house.
They were desperate.
Yeah. Hey, if it wasn't for us, that's what you guys would still be doing out there. So you're welcome.
If only we could just sit around and listen to people talking about these cases on the radio, but we don't have that. So let's go over there and pick a raisin off that cake. Stick it in your pocket.
Let's go get some blood spatter and some dogwood bark.
Why wouldn't you just go buy any raisin from anywhere and just be like, this is from that cake Marie made at the Lawson Family Murder House?
Raisin without provenance. That's what it is. It's no good.
That's my new favorite quote of yours. Raisin without provenance. God forbid.
Years later, they take it in Pawn Stars. I got a raisin from the cake.
He's holding it under a magnifying glass.
Let me get a guy over here, one of my friends from downtown, to check it out.
I know a guy.
Here's the thing about that show that drives me crazy. Couldn't anyone run that pawn shop if everything that they bring in, you're like, let me get a guy from downtown over here to look at it?
You could get a hungover 17-year-old, yeah.
He says it's worthless. This expert that I bring in says it's worthless, so I'm not buying it.
Oh, I know a guy who happens to be an expert in antique raisins.
Quiet your mind.
At the end of January 1930, just a month after the massacre, Marion held an auction and sold off all of the Lawson family belongings, even the shotgun used in the slaying, which reportedly brought a large amount of money. Not long after everything was sold, both the house and tobacco barn were demolished. Just months before, there stood a large operating family tobacco farm full of life, the chattering of kids, the clanking of cast iron skillets as Franny made dinner. But now in its place, just a barren, empty field.
Am I wrong on this? I could kind of see selling the stuff. I don't know about the gun. But I mean, what are you going to do with it?
True, yeah.
But I mean, the gun, I don't know. I don't know what I want to do with that thing. I don't get selling tickets and parading people through.
I was going to say having the gun that murdered those people in your home would be bad juju. But as I was thinking that, I also realized in my garage, I have several drawings and writings from serial killers that I've purchased in frames.
Yeah, it's not the same, though. No. I mean, I feel like it's not your family.
That you have murdered anybody.
That's true. Okay.
Yeah.
Just people that murdered people created it, but not the actual weapon.
Yeah.
The gun, yeah, that's a little much.
True. But yeah, it's just like, it's like the entire Lawson family and everything associated with them was just erased out of existence. So Arthur, the only surviving member of the family, he married a woman named Nina Elizabeth Dodd. So he went on to have 4 kids with her. Then on May 5th, 1945, he was killed in a freak car accident.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
I thought he was going to say he did the same thing.
Yeah, he did the same thing. Me too. Sam and I had the same thought.
I saw you guys grab your chest.
Oh, thank goodness he died. Thank goodness he died. No. And yeah, because that's what I thought.
No, he was a good dude and he was killed in a car accident.
Rest in peace. Yeah, that's terrible life for him. But at least he had some kids. Sorry, too bad he died. So, yeah, man, that's crazy.
Remember, we didn't know if he was 16 or 19, so he was either 31 or 34 when he died. Who knows?
Sure.
Something like that. Right. So the Lawson Family Massacre has since become part of Iowa's lore and a favorite case amongst true crime enthusiasts. The funeral home where their autopsies were conducted was also made a tourist attraction, complete with photos of the caskets and pictures of the family. Mm-hmm. That's even today. The tragedy inspired a song. Oh, you want to pull up YouTube's? You want to listen to part of a song, Sam?
Okay.
I usually like to give you
Spring
warning.
that on you.
I know, but now we're just springing it. But this band called the Carolina Buddies recorded a song titled "The Murder of the Lawson Family." They didn't beat around the bush.
Yeah. What's it about?
And it was in
1956. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I listened to the song. He basically just tells he's like, on this day and now, Lawson killed his. He just tells the whole story of the murder, basically. The story has also inspired several books, like Trudy J. Smith's book, The Meaning of Our Tears, and a second book she wrote with her father, Bruce Jones, called White Christmas, Bloody Christmas. But, right now, we're going to listen to a little bit of the Carolina Buddies. And remember, this was in 1956, and it's kind of a bluegrass type song. And remember, when we did String Bean Aikman, they wrote a song about him, too. The murder of String Bean or whatever.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Must have been their thing.
Yeah, they just wrote about murder. Maybe that should be our thing on the side. We're all musicians as well. Let's just, after every true crime episode we do, let's just write a song about that case.
Yeah.
Right?
We could.
It was on last Christmas evening, a snow was on the ground, near his home in North Carolina, where this murderer he was found. His name was Charlie Lawson, and he had a loving wife, but we'll never know what caused him to take his family's life.
Once again, the Carolina Buddies with the murder of the Lawson family, or whatever it was called, something like that. So the book that I mentioned, White Christmas, Bloody Christmas, it was released in 1990. Now, the reason this book comes into play is because inside the book, someone made a salacious claim that Charlie's motive for the massacre was to cover up the fact that he had been molesting his 17-year-old daughter, Marie, and had gotten her pregnant. There's actually a little bit of evidence to back this up. Several Lawson family members, such as Charlie's sister, Jetty, and a niece, came forward claiming that many of the family knew that he had been molesting Marie, even Franny. There was also a woman named Ella Mae, who had been a close friend of Marie's, who came forward years later to say that Marie had told her about the abuse not long before she was murdered. Then there was the testimony of Sam Hill, a neighbor and friend of the Lawson family. He said the relationship between Charlie and Franny had been severely strained in the weeks leading up to the massacre. It was normal to hear them yelling and arguing from across the field. Sam also claimed he knew about Charlie's relationship with Marie and claimed Charlie had threatened Marie that if she ever told anyone, he would kill her. Now, one way to verify this story is Marie's autopsy. Did they find that she was pregnant? Well, no, but
they weren't looking.
Exactly, because a pregnancy check, was that or was that not a part of a standard autopsy in 1929? Who knows? We don't know if they checked. So there's no notation on her autopsy that she was pregnant, but why would they have checked?
That's true.
Maybe they did check, maybe they didn't. So
I feel like this is one of those plausible. I thought we would just come out with nothing, but I feel it's pretty plausible. But it is, again, it's hearsay.
Yeah.
But it's plausible hearsay.
Man, if you look at that family photo, Marie looks, if you look on the look on her face, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does.
She looks like a gal that's seen some shit. She doesn't look happy. You know, just judging from the look on her face, I would say, wow, maybe that was true because she does not look like a happy gal, even for 1929.
Yeah.
She doesn't look good.
Wow, yeah.
So there's that. But it's been nearly 96 years since Charlie Lawson murdered 7 members of his family and then killed himself. And still to this day, no one is totally sure why. Did he just snap? Was it premeditated? Did he know when that photograph was taken that he was about to kill his whole family? With the exception of Arthur. Did he actually impregnate his daughter? Did his old head injury play any part in his actions? Unfortunately, in a case this old, we will probably never know. A more thorough inspection of Charlie's brain cannot even be performed because it was not preserved properly and has degraded quite a bit over the decades. So, with what little we know, and we've kind of already talked about it already, but I'm going to ask you guys and the listeners out there, what do you think happened?
Listeners, I'll let you go first.
We're waiting. 417-4-MANTIS.
They didn't respond, so I'll go. No. Sam, do you got something?
It sounds like the brother was crazy, too, with all the just opening up the house as a tourist attraction.
Yeah.
I think there was just something within that, at least that part of the family.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it didn't run in the blood because his son turned out to be an okay guy, even after all that happening.
Yeah.
That just goes to show you that even in something tragic, you can still be a good person.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
I think there was just some sick stuff in Charlie's head and possibly even the brothers. He just not as bad.
Yeah.
I don't think it came from a head injury.
No,
I
don't think so either.
I don't either. Ivan, what's your feeling on it?
I mean, what Sam said. I mean, I'm leaning in on the hearsay, though. That's pretty solid without any other evidence.
About the daughter?
Yeah. He couldn't just I made the mistake, and I'm not condoning this, but just go out in the woods yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, just let everyone deal with but then it would, I don't know, he probably wanted it to be a mystery. You know, he probably didn't want that thing to know, if that's the case. I don't even know.
I would like to know exactly what those letters contained. I didn't find that anywhere.
Yeah.
What? And maybe they really didn't have anything to do with his motives.
Addressed to his parents?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, what kind of people were they?
I don't know.
So,
Yeah.
Maybe I turned out like this because of you.
Yeah. Man, wow.
Who knows?
Yeah.
There's no telling. Yeah. Yeah, unless they're going to exhume and look, I don't even know if you could anymore. Well, obviously, you could probably still tell, depending on how far along she was.
True.
I bet you could tell.
And I never saw any word about that. Like if they exhumed her body, you should be able to tell even now, you would think. I don't know.
At this point now, no living relatives. I don't think there would be any. I don't think a judge would allow it. I don't think it would carry or anything.
Right.
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, I don't
maybe.
Either. So either, I think one of two. I won't commit to one, but I think either the rumors were true and he did the whole thing to cover up the molestation, or it was just a good old-fashioned case of a dude snapping.
Yeah.
Man, I know people don't like to hear that. They always want kind of a reason or a motive. It's like the Devil's Den thing. they don't like to hear that someone just snapped and just decided
Sure.
they're going to. But that happens a lot, you know. He could have just snapped a couple weeks before Christmas and decided, I'm taking out my whole family
Yeah.
and myself. Maybe he didn't even know why. So I know we don't like to hear that, but that may have been the case.
Yeah. Until there's other evidence, that's where you have to.
Yep. But in a case that's almost 100 years old, we'll never know.
Yeah.
We will never know. Yeah. So there you go. That's the case of the Lawson family murders there for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Bad stuff.
I do want to say
Thanks,
again,
Joe.
before we close this, yeah, you're welcome.
No, I'm
you're
kidding.
so welcome.
That's why we're here.
I do want to say again, it's been a great 7 years. It's been a fast 7 years. It feels like it was just the other day I was calling Ivan and saying, man, do you want to do a podcast? You know, and time goes by so fast.
Yeah, it only feels like 6 years ago. No, I'm kidding. No, it really does. It really, time does fly.
It's bizarre.
As you get older, the more it does.
Yes.
So
yes.
I've read some stuff. So not good, but good.
It's very true. You know, like I think about, you know, I can retire from my job in 11 years. And a long time ago, I would have thought 11 years, Christ almighty, that's forever. But now I'm like, 11 years is going to be like 15 minutes. I swear to God, you snap and that amount of time goes by. It's insane how fast it goes.
Yeah. Just don't snap like the last guy.
It's been a great 7 years. It's went by so fast. I love doing this. It's so freaking fun. And maybe I'm morbid for having such a good time talking about topics like this. But really, at the end of the day, it doesn't even matter what we're talking about. It's the fact that I'm hanging out with like my two best buds and we're just talking.
The case is just something to talk about.
Yeah, it's just the catalyst for us to hang out.
That's right.
It really is. And not to say that we don't have a passion for true crime and the things we're talking about, but you know, this is just great, man. I'll break the fourth wall again. We used to do this every week. Now we double up. We do like 2 episodes per night and we do it twice a month. But it's my 2 favorite nights per month. I'll say that still. It's
fun
still
stuff for sure.
I still love it. Still look forward to it.
I'm still having fun, and people are still. Hey, got a couple of people that listen.
We got a few
listen to
people
this.
who listen. God bless your hearts.
Crazy.
Yeah, I don't know why, but you do.
Why do you? No. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you all. Happy anniversary to us. And my God, it's been a fun ride. And we're just getting started. I'll say that.
We are.
We're just getting started.
Just getting warmed up.
All right. Thank you all for listening. We love you. And we'll catch you on the next one. Good night.